Alright, my friends, today is a little bit of a oopsie day. Project behind me I started in the summer, got hot, other things came up, so we're going to try and finish. Hopefully this weekend. What I have is a deck that I started. Nothing fancy. Just go along the side of the edge of the cabin. You see I got to clean up all this trash. And I put my posts up for the ceiling, but I still have the silly brackets. So we're going to try and extend this today all the way over to the wall. Some may ask why my deck just doesn't go all the way out. Why did I put a board across here? Well, this is because when I bought the wood in the summertime, wood was ridiculously expensive, and I went to go buy, the original length of the deck was going to be right where this ends. I went to go buy the 2x6s that make up the I don't know, what do you want to call it? The first direction that the other boards are sitting on top of for the supports, crossbeam supports. And when I went to go buy those, Home Depot didn't have the length that I wanted. They were out of the, I think I wanted 10-foot boards. So they gave me 12-foot boards for the price of 10-foot boards. So I felt bad cutting off 2 feet of every board and throwing it away, so I just put them all down, and I ended up with this mess here. Right? I mean, you see how it sticks out. I didn't want my deck originally to be that long, so I had them there, and I was trying to figure out what was I going to do, etc., etc. Then as time went on, about a month after I had those little dog ears sticking out on all the runners, why not build my deck all the way over up to flush with the retaining wall? And then I'll take my outdoor kitchen sink, which right now I just pushed down there. It's been sitting on the ground, so it needs cleaned up. And I will put it right here between these two posts. So my kitchen sink will sit up at the same height as we are out here. So I can put my 4x4 posts out on the edge, run some 2x6s across the top, be ready to put a roof over this thing, fix junk like where I left the holes that I had to leave because I got my braces. The one that is really annoying is this one, because I had to put my brace on here to keep that 4x4 straight. So we have a nice little hole. Oh, whoops. Pick up some trash as well. So, not going to be a step-by-step guide, but essentially, I am not a deck builder, so do as you will. What I'm doing is I'm putting pier blocks, running 2x6s across, 2x6s at the braces, running supports across, so that as I lay my deck boards, it is nice and solid. Thing moved out of the way, so now we have room to work and start putting in some pier blocks along the edge of the retaining wall and extend the deck over that way. Alright, my friends, time for day 2 on this deck back here. And we did pretty good progress till it got too dark to do anything. Move slow, other things, life comes up, etc., etc. This is where we got to. Obviously, you can see the portion that I started in the summer and then didn't finish. So this is what I finished. Just continued on what I had over here. Got my blocks in, put them in underneath, ran the runners across, and then you can see all the nails before we got this installed. And very solid. Right, I mean, this is what's left to finish the bottom. Then we can start putting these posts. Right, this one's just sitting here, it's not solid. It's in a pier block in the ground. This first deck board is going to come up. This 4x4 will go into this first deck board, and then the block that I put in at the very end down there, 4x4 will go in there, and then these three, I'll put a pair of 2x6s across the top at whatever height I decide, and then run those over to the 2x6s that go across the top of those 4x4s. And my wife liked what we have going on so much that we're going to take and fill in this whole corner back here eventually, right? I mean, so again, this last board is missing, and this first board is not screwed down yet because I got to put the 4x4 post up there. But we're going to take this and eventually, for today, get it up to here so we can get the ceiling over it. And then from here, we're just going to push it all the way over and fill in this whole back corner. I have to raise my outlet up a little bit, but that wasn't originally in the plans, but that's going to be where our deck goes. We got enough material to probably get all that done. But for today, goal is today get this last piece done, screw all these boards down that are just resting here. I put 2 screws in the ends so I could notch out that piece, but then these last boards are not screwed down at all. So my wife will go in and hit all the middle screws. You see she was doing a good job getting up to about here. Then she started dinner while I continued putting these in so we could get our cutting around that 4x4. Sun's coming out finally. Lots and lots of rain last night. Thank you. Put my last pier block in. It's going to be right beside this pier block. Put my last pier block in up there. Then I can extend the 2x6 up and then start putting my cross bracing in and frame this up. It's only going to be 14 foot from where these posts sit to those posts, but I got 16 foot 2x6s so that they can actually go up and touch the building. Well, not touch, give a little gap. And they'll overhang the edge of this retaining wall a little bit, such that any rain that comes down is going to come down and rain into the gravel pit back here. This is a 4 foot deep clean base gravel with 2 layers of French drain in it. So any rain that comes off the top of the roof can go into that and not cause problems down here where we're trying to be. So, time to get a pier block in, and we will check in later. Alright my friends, today should be day 3 working on this deck back here. I have another project coming up that my electrician is coming over to do, so I want to watch him record some of that. I'm not sure if I'm going to get to the deck today or not, we'll see. Let's show where we're at as of the end of 2 days over the weekend. This is what I got done so far. Got 3 posts along the house. They're all nice and plumb. Got the header beams up. And I did it a little different because I found these metal brackets. And yes, I'm missing some galvanized nuts and washers, so ignore that for now. But I got these metal beams, supports, that let me lower the headers a little bit below the top of the 2x4s. And I didn't want to just rest the 2x6s on top of the 4x4s without some type of bracket up there to keep them steady. Done that before, I didn't like it. So when I found those, I thought that was a cool idea. Wanted to try it. They're very solid, very secure. So got that all squared away. Nice and solid, like I said, square and plumb. Got the deck completely done. Shy of that one board right there because it got too dark. I just need to notch it out so it'll wrap around the post. And this board on the end. My spacing was a little off across a 16-foot deck. We did better up there than I did down here. You see on my boards I must have put extra spaces in versus up there. We learned as I went. Just take a nail through a little piece of scrap wood, drop it on one side, drop it on the other side, and then you butt the boards up. And you get a more uniform spacing. Hey, that's the goal. You learn as you go. So all the posts are, there's a 2x6 on the outside, 2x6 on the inside, and then the little bracer on the front that's stubbed in, and the back that's stubbed in to make these kind of secure. They are plumb the way they are, but you can still wiggle them a little bit if you wanted to. Everything's just resting on pier blocks. That's where we're at. To me, this deck, it ends up being 16x16 where I'm at today. Everything's screwed in. So what I'd like to do today, nothing else, get this deck board in and notched out around the post. Get that deck board in, notched around the post. And then we have a 16x16 deck that no one's going to break an ankle as they walk on. And then if I can, put my 2x6s up here. This side, because I want a little bit of a slope, I can just run my 2x6s across and see where we end up.